One with salt in a bag, one in a bag without salt. We'll bury it and come back in 2 weeks for the deer processing class. Hello world, Will White here, Piked Antler Survival School. Meat preservation without electricity, without ice, with essentially nothing but some hard work, meat, shovel, thermometer, soil, earth, and a creek. Plastic bag, and 2 different experiments, one with salt, one without. Welcome to the Survivalist Hunter Piked Antler channel. I'm Will White, the Survivalist Hunter, been teaching wilderness survival for almost a decade, and I want to bring you some information that I'm collecting as we go. I think a lot of us have been curious about whether or not meat preservation by burying it actually works. What do we need to know about it? What are the do's? What are the don'ts? What are the little details that we overlook, or little details that we don't know about? What spawned this? This idea came from Hurricane Helene. Asheville got hit really bad. I'm about 50 minutes west of Asheville. We got hit pretty good, and the trees I'm sitting on were not here before Hurricane Helene. Here's what's going to happen. I already have the deer. Right now I'm going to dig a hole, ideally 2 to 3 feet deep, primarily because I want colder temperatures, and also I want to avoid attracting too many predators. We do have coyotes out here. We do have black bear out here. But we also have my dog, who is on high alert all the time. I swear that dog has PTSD or something. She is jumpy and sounds like a beast, even though she's only 45 pounds. So hopefully that will, all those things combined, digging deep enough, and the dog will minimize the risk of some predator coming to take my hard-earned venison. All the steps: dig a hole to the proper depth until I get to roughly 40 degrees or less. Then I will skin the shoulders of a deer. I will put one in a big trash bag, wrap it up completely, and bury it. Now, why wrap it up completely, and why not? 2 answers. Why wrap it up completely? The lack of oxygen will slow the growth of bacteria. Bacteria needs oxygen to grow as well. So by wrapping it up airtight, it will decrease the oxygen, slowing bacterial growth, and also decrease scent. Problem with that: when you're aging a deer, as it dries out, you'll get some drips, right? You'll lose some of the fluid inside the hide, or inside the meat, excuse me. So what's going to happen when I wrap that up in a plastic bag and bury it? Are all those juices going to come out and ruin the meat? I don't know. Here's the other thing. It's been hanging in the aging cooler for roughly 48 hours. I had to get some things done before I could do this. So next time I do it, I want to harvest the animal, cut the shoulder out, bury it immediately to see what happens. It's already been aging 48 hours, so it has lost some moisture. So we'll see what happens there. The other shoulder, I will put in another trash bag covered in non-iodized salt. That's how I salt cure my meat, to preserve it, or salt. That's how I salt preserve my meat, non-iodized salt. I've been doing it for a couple years, works great. I'm going to see if it works out here. The catch is, even when you salt preserve it, it still needs to stay cool for roughly 2 weeks, around that 33 to 40 degree temperature. So you salt it, cover it in salt, and hang it in your aging cooler at 33 to 40 degrees for 2 weeks. And at that point, after you've applied more salt and more salt each day, after 2 weeks of adding salt and it being at the right temperature range, it's good to hang just about anywhere. So if you want to see what happens, you got to subscribe, or go to the website. There's a prompt on there to get your free ebook on evergreen medicine. I mean, who doesn't want to know that? It's just good stuff. It's medicine available year round, and a lot of it's actually right behind me. So if you download that book, I'll get your email, and I can make sure you get and I'll make sure you get an email as soon as the results come in. PikedAntlerProject.com. I got to get digging, and I've got the flu. I don't feel like doing this, but here we go. We need to dig not deeper than the water will rise in here. Basically, the water table here, we don't want to pass that, because that's going to seep in and possibly get our meat wet. Jesus. Okay, well that sucked also. Branches over my head. The reason I'm doing this part first and then finding the result later, 2 reasons. 1, build suspense. 2, leave room for you, the viewer, to comment. Maybe you've done this before, and since I have 2 weeks before I check this, that's plenty of time for you to comment and maybe point out something that is useful to know. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you want to be a jerk about it, I'll read it, I'll learn from you, and then I'll block you, because we got enough negativity in the world. We don't need to spread anymore. Location 4. I'm in the Appalachian Mountains, by the way. And I think I'm pretty good with 44, honestly. Sub 40 would be better, but if all I can get is 44, I'm gonna say that's a green light. Okay, got standing water. Moving on to location 5. This hole's, I'm guessing, a foot and a half. But I believe I see some standing water. So I'm gonna come back tomorrow in the daylight and see if we can go any deeper without it getting saturated. We need to build kind of like a scent candle. Pine saw 3/16. Very simple. Gonna drill a little hole. Next, gonna run some paracord through it. Research says bears are deterred by the smell of pine saw, and I've tried this at one of my teaching sites. I had a bear that tore up my tent, and he was there just about every night. I went and set this up and never saw him again. So it worked at that particular moment. And just so I'll stop or knot on both ends. I want to make sure this is at least the height of the bottle. Then I just stick this in. Yeah, make sure everything's nice and soaked. So as the string dries out, it's going to continue to wick this pine saw. In short, continuing to present scent that deters bear. We got the shoulder, so just finished cleaning up the shoulder. All we're gonna do is put the shank without salt in one bag, the salted shoulder in another bag. So one is salted, one is not. Okay, there's that. Then 2, I'm gonna go ahead and fill my bag with salt. And I just leave it like that. Now it's time to go put this in the earth with my pine saw candle, and we'll see what happens in 2 weeks. Thinking a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in a big trash bag and then tie some cordage around it. Bury everything, but leave the cordage sticking out. So as I'm digging, as I think I'm getting closer and closer, I can give the string a little tug. And if I see it's breaking loose, then I'll just pull it out, versus hoping I don't hit it with the shovel. Easy, just put the shank in the bag. Now this I want oriented, so it's got salt caked on it, on top and bottom, so I need to be semi-careful with this. I'm gonna give it a twist, rewrap it. So now it's got 2 layers of trash bag. Okay. It's not as deep as I want it at all, but we're gonna go for it. And this will just hang out there. We're all set. See you in 2 weeks, I hope.